Whenever you guys are ready.
Right. Hi, my name is Emma Jeffenberg.
I'm Ryan Cummins.
I'm Zach Allegretti.
I'm Addison Perry.
And I'm Olivia Langshaw.
And we are Citizens. This is Susan. She's a working mom with 3 children and often finds it difficult to balance her work life with being a mother. Finally, she's a Friday night off where she has tickets to go see a show, but first she needs to find a sitter. She calls the only 2 sitters that she knows, but neither of them are available. She panics and she doesn't know what to do. She calls her friends, she calls her family, but none of them can find a sitter that's available or one that is qualified. That is where CitterSearch comes in. CitterSearch is a mobily accessible website that connects parents with reliable sitters in order to provide jobs within the community. We are locally in Barrington, affordable, and we provide our services through trusted recommendations. When signing up for CitterSearch, parents and sitters will both create profiles and then friend one another. This is an example of a sitter's profile where she talks about her age, her qualifications as a sitter, and a little bit about herself. We know this is important and it creates a connection between the parent and the sitter because of the 30 interviews that we conducted with the parents, they all said that they like to see the qualifications that the sitter has as well as a little bit about their personality. How our recommendation feature works is parents will send out a certain time and date that they need a sitter to their sitters, but if none of their sitters are available, then it will recommend their friend sitters. Because according to Red Cross, 81% of sitters are chosen through recommendations, so it will build more trust between the parent. So a parent will input a certain time and date when they need a sitter, and the sitter can accept or decline that depending on their availability.
So our target market is towards female high school students who are involved in clubs and sports, as well as working mothers with kids in elementary school. All of our customers will be in the Barrington area. So for our marketing strategy for parents is we'll have ads on Facebook, we'll send links to our website through Nextdoor and through emails, and we'll visit PTO meetings and talk to mothers about our service. And for students, we'll have an ad in the Roundup as well as on Instagram, and we'll have a segment on VHS TV. For both parents and students, we have flyers posted all across the Barrington area with a QR code, which they can scan and sign up for. And then our 3 main competitors are SitterCity and Care.com, which are direct competitors, and Nextdoor, which is an indirect competitor. The weakness of SitterCity and Care.com is that they are very expensive, and the weakness of Nextdoor is it is not primarily a babysitting app, but more of an online bulletin board. What makes us different is that we are affordable, local, trusted, recommended sitters. This is a special feature of our unique value proposition that none of our competitors have. And through interviews, we've discovered that parents would trust high school students rather than unknown adults.
So our total addressable market is roughly $220 million, and this is based upon all of our competitors' revenue last year added up. So our first source of revenue is going to be a $7 monthly subscription for the parent, and this will give them unlimited sitter scheduling through our service. And we determined this number through our parent interviews, as parents said that they would pay between $5 to $10 for a subscription. Our second source of revenue is going to be coming from an $11 hourly fee for one child, plus an additional $2 hourly fee for every additional child. This was determined through student interviews. And it is how the parent will be paying the sitter, and we will be taking 10% of this total cost. One unit of our service is roughly $111, and it is based off of 1 month. That is why it includes the $7 monthly subscription, as well as the $13 hourly rate, which is an average, since in Barrington, the average number of kids per household is 2. And it'll be for an average of 8 hours a month, since through our parent interviews, we found that parents need a babysitter for 4 hours twice a month. Our serviceable addressable market is roughly $3 million, and this is based upon 2,294 families in Barrington that have children in elementary school. And it is also based upon our unit price of $111 and our frequency of purchase, which is 12 months out of the year, which we have determined through our parent interviews as well. So our first year revenue is going to be roughly $20,000. We used a market share percent of 0.65 because we believe that out of the 2,294 customers, 15 of them will be paying the unit price of $111 12 months out of the year, as we currently have 8 families. Now to look at our cost of goods, for the $7 monthly subscription, there is a 50-cent cost of goods for credit card transactions, leaving us with a $6.50 gross profit margin at 92.9%. And for the $13 hourly rate, there's a higher cost of goods of $12.38. And this is because we will be keeping 10% of it, but we will be paying the sitter 90% of it. So we'll be giving them $11.70 an hour. And we also have to take into consideration the credit card transactions, which is 68 cents. So we'll be making 62 cents an hour, which is a 4.8% profit margin. Therefore, our gross profit is going to be roughly $1,630. And we know this is low, but we have to take into consideration that the $13 hourly fee is an average and that we are locally in Barrington. And we are currently talking to our current customers and seeing if they would be willing to pay a higher monthly subscription price, or we are looking to decrease our cost of goods for the hourly rate by taking a higher percentage of the $13.
So through our MVP, we will be testing our customers, our price, and our service. We will test our customers by passing out flyers at local grocery shops, at grocery stores and coffee shops. And the way we'll know if they're interested is because there will be a QR code on the flyer, and this will send them to our website where they can schedule a babysitting job. We will test our price by collecting parent emails through our website. We will then send them a survey to see if it is affordable for them. And finally, we will test our service by making babysitter profiles and scheduling jobs through GroupMe. This is what our GroupMe looks like. So our sitters will create a profile, and they will be added to this page where they can see upcoming babysitting jobs in the area. They can then reply whether they can go, and all the sitters who apply that they can go, will then their profiles will be sent to the parents, and they can choose what sitter they would like. We will be determining our success through qualitative and quantitative feedback. We will get our qualitative feedback from surveys we send out to our parents, and also we will have a review system for after the job's taking place for both the sitter and the parent, and we will send follow-up emails to the parent after the job is taking place. Our quantitative feedback will be by our numbers of subscriptions, babysitter profiles, and babysitting job schedule. Our goals are to increase our monthly subscriptions to 20, the parent emails we receive through our landing page to 80, and our registered sitters from 19 to 40. This is so we can schedule a lot more jobs. And we just recently created a functional website where parents are scheduling the jobs.
So our marketing strategies are creating social media pages. So far we have created an Instagram and a Facebook. On Instagram we are targeting more sitters, teenagers, and young moms. And on Facebook we are targeting just parents and moms. And these have been shown as successful a successful strategy because we have gained 94 followers on Instagram and have friended 40 moms on Facebook. So around 140 potential customers are aware of our business. And in the future, we want to advertise our business through the Nextdoor app and just send a link to our website so parents can schedule babysitting jobs. So far in the past 2 weeks, we have scheduled 6 successful babysitting jobs and have gained a profit of $93. And so our predictions, if we continue to schedule 6 babysitting jobs every 2 weeks, our predictions is to make $360 by the beginning of May. So as Zach said earlier, we are currently scheduling babysitting jobs through GroupMe, but this month we do want to pass out and print out flyers and pass them out to local coffee shops and around the school and advertise our business through Nextdoor. Next month, we want to get our ad in the Roundup School newspaper and put ads on Instagram and Facebook. And in April and May, we just want to continue to spread the word about our business and continue to grow. So we are asking for a total of $560, and how we're going to break that up is through flyers, Facebook, Instagram ads, Roundup ads, and marketing promotions with stickers that we can pass out. We are Sitter Search, trusted sitters, reliable jobs. Thank you.
What is a unit price? I didn't get
So
$111.
the unit price is $111, and it's based off of 1 month, so it includes the monthly subscription and then an average of $13 an hour. So
This is just a number
yeah, because it could be as low as 11, but it could also vary from how many kids there are.
So a unit is like a parent, like you each user.
Okay, yeah.
And how'd you make the $93? Was it on subscriptions or was it on?
Both subscriptions and then we schedule jobs, so the 10% of the hours is free.
So how are you planning if you get a sitter through the site? Who pays the sitter and how do you get your 10%?
So far, the parent has been just paying cash to the sitter, and then we meet the sitter and they just give us 10% of their earnings.
And the
Okay.
subscription if they.
Yeah, and the $7 subscription. if they
Yeah,
get it.
and then how did the $7 subscription, somebody bought it like 1 month at a time? I think the idea of the 10% is interesting. I'm going back and forth on what's scalable and doable. The whole honor system thing doesn't really do it for me. So the way to solve for that, but it is that this parent pays on credit card when they book, and then you Venmo the sitter, and then you keep 10% for yourself. That might be something you do.
But right now, we're not old enough to open up a bank account, so then it would have to be either one of our accounts if we have one, and then we'll just.
In the future, we do plan on, the parent like paying online,
Yeah.
because we just can't right now.
Go to a new bank. He's a bank, he'll get you a credit card. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I kind of agree with Michael here. I mean, you really run a risk of, the babysitter works out and they know each other and you're out of the picture really
Right.
quickly. So,
I agree.
you need to solidify your relationship with the buyer.
The way to solve for that is to eliminate the 10% and have people sign up for a subscription, but you do not allow a month-to-month subscription. You might allow a 6-month subscription as your shortest, you might allow a year, or you might allow a 2-year subscription, and one is $9 a month, one's $7 a month, one's $5 a month. The longer you sign up, the cheaper it is. And you have to prepay us for your subscription. Like, would you pay $7 times 12? Would somebody pay $96 a year to have access to your website? I'm guessing they would. Now, whether you guys can make enough money on just being subscriptions, but it removes all the complexity of the number of, gigs that get set up and you guys worrying about the 10% and
It's something you can tout as what I would think is a benefit for a parent, is there's no transaction with a babysitter. I mean, it's just like Uber.
You don't have to pay
I
the
take
ATM.
extra to not have to know that there's not a transaction at the end of the night, crap.
the credit
Or
card
a cash
solution does
station.
it, yeah.
There's, it's a done deal before it's made.
You get mileage, you get frequent flyer points too.
Question, how did you guys settle on $7 as the monthly subscription?
That was through our parent interviews that we talked to. All of them said that they would pay between $5 to $10.
Okay, interesting. Just when I was in this phase, I know my North Shore friends were paying $50 a month just to have the right to be able to call their sitter and say, we need you this weekend. So you may have a little upside. You could clearly round that up to 10, because particularly if you start targeting who your parent families are, not so much me anymore because my kids are older, but particularly those who are in preschool, those are desperate parents looking for date nights, and they will pay that. So you really might figure out, because I think you're on the right track though of being hyper-local is where the trust is. I don't trust Angie's. I wouldn't trust it not with my children. But with the people I live with in the community around here, that's a different story. So I can do that.
Can you go to the $560 that you're
Yes.
requesting? You went quickly through that breakdown of what that's for. So you put out 52-cent flyers and you get 100 of them, $52. The Facebook ad, I guess that's the cost of Facebook ads, about $8
You
a
can
day.
decide how much you want to allocate for per day, so.
So if into 10 days of it, if you say, gosh, this doesn't seem to be working, you can cut the cost at $80.
Yeah.
Or, yeah.
And this is all great and interesting, but it will take time. The MVP, you only have a couple months. So what are you gonna do that could be more hyper-local guerrilla in addition to this? I mean, Roundup is what, to find your sitters,
Yeah.
perhaps? What are you doing to find parents of that sweet spot of kids who clearly need a sitter?
Well, we found in like the past, we found a lot of parents have found us through Facebook, so that's why we kind
Okay.
of concentrated a
Great.
lot there. And then also we are passing out like flyers and trying to engage them and talk to them so that they'll hear more about our
Okay,
service.
so I heard you say you were going to coffee shops. What about preschools? All of you have a doctor who specializes in little people. They're called pediatricians. And they love their patients. I mean, really think guerrilla here, so you can, when we're here in May, we can have more confidence in your concept because you've got some traction. So libraries, YMCAs, preschools, pediatrician's office, hospitals, wherever moms congregate, I mean, you could tell them, you could see it on their expression of desperation, if I need some me time, I need some adult time.
The
without-
park district too, with all
Park
the
district,
Yeah.
yes.
Registrations
Yes.
sports and everything.
Yeah,
But yeah, the other way to get around the banking thing is, do you guys know what Venmo is?
Yeah.
Okay. Just eliminate the bank. Have the parents pay you in Venmo and pay the sitter in Venmo.
yeah.
And just say, great, you booked somebody, just, pay us in Venmo. You're still going to run this risk of people stealing the resource and not going through the site for the second, oh, can you sit next week, can you sit tomorrow? And all of a sudden you're out of the interaction. So you may need to say to somebody, hey, when you sign up for the subscription, you agree not to do that. And it's just, you hope that the threat of it or their agreement of it is a problem, and if you ever find out about it, you can just at least call them and say, really? Like, seriously?
Maybe
If that's the way you want to play?
You've already done some jobs, I take it, right?
Yeah, 6.
And who are you using as babysitter?
Well, we have, like you saw, we have the group me. I think we both sat before also.
Yeah, I mean, have you used people that aren't you as well?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And how's that worked out? Has it been, no problem? You get that 10%?
Yeah, it's been no problem because it's
Small.
small,
Yes.
and you've probably done one gig, and you said, hey, can I get 10% for some
Yeah.
sure?
But it's harder.
Yeah.
Because we also like know them, or we somewhat know
Yeah.
them, and you can like get in contact with them
Yeah.
easily versus.
When we're back in May, if you show to us that parents are willing to pay in Venmo, and you've got people paying out on Venmo, and you have a somewhat of a defendable way to grab the spread, the dollar or 10%, that's golden. Now, what you will say is somebody doesn't know, I don't know if we're gonna be 3 hours or 4 hours or 6 hours, well, then pay the sitter, just give us an estimate and pay the sitter on the side. I don't know, if you go over your they can deal with that.
Or they could pay, I guess, like after the
Right,
fact.
because you can build them back.
Right,
In
because a lot
other
of parents,
words-
there's sort of unpredictable, like when you're.
Right.
Yeah, there you go, yeah. but-
There's the estimate versus the actual.
Yeah.
So-
Yep, and then,
So my-
don't sign up people for, subscriptions that are longer than a month. A month subscription isn't a subscription. It's a transaction. The benefit of subscription models is what's called recurring revenue. And when you have a number of subscriptions that are out there, even if they're not being used, you run some risk of them renewing if they're not using it, but you'll know, hey, this person hasn't used it for 3 months. We might want to reach out to them and help them a little bit, get excited about the product. But 6 to 12
1 minute.
months, nothing less than 6 months. And I would go for 12,
Do you
maybe
think
even
that-
longer.
Do you think the sitter should pay the subscription as well?
Eventually, but in the beginning, your value is going to be sitters, and a lot of them.
Right.
And if you want to remove any friction from the sitter enrolling in that,
Right. Because the last thing is you want is have all these subscribers and you don't have sitters for
Yeah.
them. Then what are they doing?
yeah,
Also, a lot of sitters, like we talk to a lot of like our peers, because those are the sitters, they're not really willing to pay like $5 a month
Yeah.
to like sit.
Yeah.
So, and even if they because you might not get any job, so.
Because because it depends on.
You'll want to get a sense in your MVP for the ratio of families to sitters and what's the optimal size. Like, is it 20 to 1? Like you have to have 20 sitters for every one family because the likelihood of people not being available or they not liking the profile or whatever. And if you have under that, you're going to have a problem with filling orders. And if you have too many of that, you're going to get sitters that are saying, I forgot about that because I never get a gig. So there's a optimal balance there.
All right, we need a number.
I think 560's expensive, but I mean, you guys could most likely pay us back. You know how that works, right? Like if you go spend the 560, we get your first 560 of profit. So.
I got the $93, don't worry.
You got the 93? Are you recycling the 93 in, or did you guys already spend it on?
Not yet, it's still with us.
You got it,
You
yeah.
literally have
You
them.
guys feel fine with
Yeah,
560?
I just have a quick question. Have you, when talking to your parents, have you talked about or gotten a feel of the, like, surge pricing, like Fridays and Saturdays?
Surge
Yeah.
Valentine's Day.
Or Valentine's
Right.
Day.
No, we haven't thought
or
about that.
Things like that.
Yeah, because I would, like, most parents, it's like Saturday is just like when we have like
Yeah,
all the
Fridays and
jobs.
Well, the other way to do that is the sitter mandates their price. They just say, here's what my rate is. And you can pick them, and you still get your 10%. You just don't have fixed pricing. And so that might be another way to play it.
Or even have an auction.
All right, great job, guys, thank you.